This is the Louie T Network.
Louie T Live. Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Winners and Losers, Week 13 edition. Back like cooked crack, back by popular demand. It's your man Louie T. Hope your Thanksgiving was outstanding because mine absolutely was. And I hope you enjoyed all of the festivities, all the food, all the family, all the friends, all the football, all of the things that come with the fellowship of the holiday season. So, I've recharged the battery, feeling really good. A little tired tonight, not gonna lie to you, a little tired, but we pushed forward. And last week was a great week for everyone. You know, I hate these types of weeks where everyone's a winner. Everybody gets a juice cup, a bag of chips, a gold medal, and a little sticker that says, "You're a star." Everyone gets one. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets to feel good about themselves. These are the worst weeks. But it's amazing, as unpredictable as the league has been this season, we've had quite a few of these weeks where just about everyone got a participation trophy. And this week, much like I want to say week 9 or so was, it's one of those weeks where everyone gets a participation trophy. And unless you were being extra special, you did pretty well for yourself. I was surprised. I was actually surprised that we didn't have a perfect record this week, because it literally was chalk. All you had to do was pick all of the teams that you expected to win, and you would have won at least 13 games. And if you made a couple of smart decisions, you might have went 14-2, 15-1. You would have had to have been extremely lucky to win 16 this week, because you would have had to pick 2 games correctly, which it was okay to pick one correct, but it wasn't okay to pick both of them correct, because you couldn't have known that both the Bills and the Cardinals were going to go and win games that they weren't supposed to win. The Cardinals, I actually gave that one some serious consideration, but because my man B.E. is a Cardinals fan and he's beating me, I couldn't pick the Cardinals. But I wanted to pick the Cardinals. I thought about the Cardinals because I said the Jags are due for a loss, and it's not easy to go and win in the desert. They were due for one. But I had to pick against BE because I'm running out of time. So, but you couldn't have picked both the Cardinals and the Bills. You had to pick one or the other. And so that's what stopped anybody from going perfect this week. But I was surprised. I thought someone would be willing to go out on the limb and do both of those and still be smart the rest of the way. Because normally when you make picks like that, there's another slip up somewhere along the line where you go out and try to be special. And I'm not Mr. Safe. I'm not a safe guy. All right, I'm out on the ledge now because I can't be safe and make up ground. So I've got to go out on a limb, and it's not going to be anything that I don't believe in. I'm not going to go and pick a team like the Browns just for the sake of trying to be different and win a game. They're going to be within the framework of me thinking that team can win. But in any event, this was an easy week, so. Not a lot of people to kill, because everyone, for the most part, did what they were supposed to do. The NFL tossed up a softball and just about everybody knocked it out of the park. So I'm going to tell you what, though. For as good as everybody did this week, I can't wait to see what everybody does next week. If you haven't looked at the schedule for next week's games, good luck. You're going to need it. So I advise you to go ahead and take a look at that schedule for Week 13, because it's a son bitch. I'm telling you right now, it's a doozy. It's going to be a lot of people scratching their heads next week because we're back to 16 games. All right. Week 12 marked the beginning of the end of the regular season. When you start seeing a full slate of games, all 32 teams on the slate, you know the beginning of the end is near. So now it's a countdown to the end of the regular season. And for some of you, you're happy, you're ready for your team's season to be over. You're ready to be put out of your misery and look forward to the draft. But for most of us football fans, we don't want it to be over. Because once it's over, it's over. And then all we have are memories for 6 months. We got to talk about what happened and who do we think teams are going to draft, but we don't actually have real football to discuss. So at this time, I start to get somewhat upset, a little perturbed, because I know the end is near. And while this season has went along at a leisurely pace, this hasn't been one of those, oh my God, I can't believe it's already week 13 type years. No, it feels like it's week 13. This hasn't been one of those, oh my God, I can't believe it's week 13 already. This season is blown by. Nah, feels like week 13. Still, you're going to miss it when it's gone. So, with that being said, welcome to the program, first and foremost. I'm your man, Louie T. Again, thank you for joining me on this program. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. If you're out there and you want your comment to be read on the air, if it's pertinent, use that hashtag #LouieTLive to have your comment read when we get to the comment reading section and portion of this video. Also, if you can, please donate to the Louie T Network via one of these two sites. Those links that you see in front of you belong to Patreon and PayPal, both of which ways you can donate to the Louie T Network. I want to extend a big thank you to all of you who have donated via Patreon. That is a huge help to the movement. And I can't thank you guys enough. Money Miz, Sean Mack, Andrew Kim, my man Max, all of you guys, Jay Moo, every single one of you, Brandon, all of you guys. Thank you so much for your contribution via Patreon. Words can't begin to describe how much that means to the movement that is the Louie T Network. That being said, let's jump into the festivities this week and talk about the winners, because that's what we do here. We talk about the winners. We have the winners win, and we have the losers worry about losing. So let's talk about the winners, shall we? And there were a ton this week because, like I said, everybody got it done. Everybody's a winner, man. I can't stand when everybody's a winner. But the biggest winners of week number 12 were my man Rick and B.E. Ricky Lemmeyer and Brian Emerson. My man B.E. and Rick lit it up. 15-1 apiece for those two. And B.E. just continues to run away from the pack, man. I mean, I keep waiting for the slip up. I keep tossing out banana peels. And just like on Mario Kart, man, the man is just zigging and zagging past my banana peels. I'm just waiting for him to spin out of control off of one of my nanas, man. He just won't give me an opportunity to come back. Or for that matter, anybody else. He just continues to get better week in and week out. And all I can do is salute my man B.E. because he's just been outstanding. It's not over yet. And I'm not waving the white flag, but God damn it, we're running out of time, folks. And B.E. has his foot firmly on the gas pedal, and he is not letting up. And the only hope that I have is that his Arizona Cardinals, all I ask is that they continue to play competitive football, because that's going to give B.E. the green light to continue to pick them. Because they're not going to win every single week. But that's not the only team that I need him to pick that loses. I need him to make some mistakes. And right now he's not making any mistakes. So Big ups to BE, man. He just continues to put out heat every single week. And my man Ricky Lemmeyer was right with him step for step this week. The Jaguars, coincidentally enough, was his only loss for BE. It was only the Kansas City Chiefs. So both of those guys had the inside track on everybody else this week. And my man Rick is starting to turn it up a little bit. So big shout out to you two guys for lighting it up and showing us the way in week number 12 with a 15-1 mark to set the tone for what was an absolutely cupcake, easy peasy lemon squeezy week for everyone here on Winners and Losers. As we move on to the 14-2 crowd, another exclusive group, much like the 15-1ers. Only two people belong to this group: Eduardo O'Neal and Falcons Fury. Fury last week struggled a little bit, bounced back from a 7-7 campaign to a 14-2. It's a hell of a uptake from last week's 7-7 performance. So Falcons Fury, big time this week, along with Eduardo O'Neal. Again, I've been talking about Eduardo for what seems like a month now in terms of just how he's been really quiet this year, but putting in work, man. Eduardo, again, steadily climbing, rising up the overall leaderboard in 14-2. That'll do it for you. You know, you want to make some power moves? That's how you do it. 14-2, that'll do it just about every time. You'll leap, skip, jump over a couple heads with 14-2s. And look, there's 16 games from here on out. So there is some opportunity for some damage to be done now. You're going to have some opportunities to go 14-2, to go 13. There won't be too many more 15-1s. I can assure you of that. Things are about to get real here down the stretch. Some tough games, good teams playing against one another. There are no more, oh, yeah, I know who's going to win that game. There aren't going to be many more of those. Even the funky teams are playing against each other, and those are hard to decipher. So I'm excited. I'm excited about week 13 and what it's going to bring, because week 12 was just simply too easy for everyone to pick apart, including Eduardo O'Neal and Falcons Fury. So go to 13-3. This was the most prolific group. 19 winners and losers, or winners, I should say, hit 13-3 this week. And it just goes to show you just how easy this week was. And so we'll run through these quickly. My man AK, Leo Cease, Squints 1, Mr. TNA, Atlas, Big John, all hitting the board at 13-3 this week. My man AK just continues to be pretty consistent. After there was a rough patch in there, about a good 4-week stretch where he was struggling, he's gotten back on the horse, and he's getting it done like we expect from AK. And so he's now a guy that we expect to be among the leaders every single week, along with BE. And so Andrew Kim showing why he's among the most consistent on winners and losers this season. Leo Cease coming off the pace. You know, I've continued to see this guy make quality picks week after week after week after week. And I'm sold that this guy, he gets it, does Leo Cease. And so 13-3 for Leo Cease doesn't surprise me one bit. Squints 1, he's another guy that just is someone that I just can't get the hell out of the way. You know, and I'm going to eventually catch him. I don't think he's quite in BE territory where I'm like, oh, he's starting to get out of range. I can still clearly see Squints ahead of me. I don't even have to squint to see him. You like that pun? Pun intended there. I don't have to squint to see him. He's there. He's within reach. And at some point, I'm going to reach out and grab him and say, hey, man, get your ass behind me. But he continues to make it tough on the good guy. So Squints 1 with another solid week at 13-3, putting in work. Mr. TNA, man, all he's done since coming on board is put in work. It would have been fun to have seen where he would have been right about now had he been sending in picks all season long. I'm kind of disappointed in TNA because he's a regular, and I expected him to be all over this from week 1, and he got to the party late. But since getting here, man, he's been outstanding, you know, and he set the bar pretty high. So I've been impressed with TNA, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he finishes out this season because since coming on board about 3 weeks ago, right around week 10 or so, week 9, week 10, he's been outstanding just about every single week. Atlas, we've seen Atlas have his ups and downs this year, from Piss Cup and Outhouse to Penthouse, back to Piss Cup, from winning to losing. It's been a smorgasbord of picks for Atlas this year. We went through 3 different name changes. The artist formerly known as DW2 Elite Atlas to 3-11 Atlas to now just Atlas. It's been rough for my man Atlas this year, but starting to make some power moves, man. And this 3-13 mark to me is a culmination of Atlas finally starting to see the light bulb come on. But with the way Atlas has been this season, 13-3 this week and 6-10 next week. So we'll see what Atlas has in store for us in a really tough week 13. I can't wait to see what a lot of you guys do with week 13 because somebody's going to get their ass chewed up, spit out next week. And Atlas might be one of those cats that has that happen to him. Big John is a guy that he's been really good this year. Big John is another one of these cats where I'm like, hey, John, get the hell out of my way, man. And John refuses to move. And but John is right there, man. I think me and John might even be tied. But John is right there. And eventually, I'm going to get John and get out of the way. But John has been extremely consistent this year with his picks, man. And 13-3 just it's what Big John has been doing for the most part this season. So, again, no surprises there with Big John putting in more work at 13-3 in week 12. As we get to the next list of 13-3ers, Cloud, Young Mello, J Moo, the Mister, Kevin, and Jaleel, all in at 13-3. So, Cloud is starting to make picks like his team. You know, starting to really turn it up now. And look, his team is going to have to play some really tough games coming up. And these picks are about to get really tough. I want to see if Cloud steps up to the occasion and rises to the occasion like I think his team may be able to do. His Eagles are on the road versus the Seahawks in what may be their toughest test of the season to date. Maybe Kansas City week 2 when they were red hot and their only loss of the season. This kind of mirrors that. They haven't played anybody in over a month. 49ers, Broncos, Zeke Elliott-less Cowboys, Bears. Come on. This is going to be the first test that these boys have had in quite some time. And we're going to see what they're made of. And we're going to see what Cloud is made of. Because things are about to get real serious. And I don't know if he's going to be on Cloud 9 next week like he is this week. We're going to find out. Young Mello. I've always just told Young Mello, just get to the gym early, man. Get you some shots up early. His biggest problem was getting his picks in on time. Once he gets his picks in on time, he gets to the gym early, stretches a little bit, gets up a couple shots, gets lathered up. He's usually good from distance. So it's never really been, hey, what's your percentage from behind the arc for me with Young Mello? It's just, can you get here early enough to get warmed up so that when I penetrate and dish it out to you, you ready to catch and shoot? When he's been ready to catch and shoot, you've seen numbers like this put up from Young Mello this year. 10-6, 10-4, 11-3. We've seen this from Young Mello before, 13-3. He can do this. Just gotta get to the gym on time. And so he got to the gym on time this week, 13-3. Not a surprise. J Moo is a surprise at 13-3 because my man J Moo has been slipping and tripping all over the goddamn place. But J Moo was outstanding last week. Okay? J Moo, I think last week was 12-2, the best that there was last week. So he put up some, and I challenged J Moo. I looked my man J Moo in his eyes. I looked my man FBG Tony in his eyes, and I said, bruh, I don't know you guys no more, man. What's going on? Shame. Both of you. Shame. And both of them put their head down and said, man, we're going to do better. I said, I know you're going to do better because you know better. And if you know better, you must do better. And since that talk that I had with J Moo and FBG Tony, they've turned it up. No, seriously. I said turn it up. Well, they turned it up. Good to see my boys back, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you back, J Moo. That's the J Moo that I know. 13-3. The Mister. He's a visitor now. You know, he's not used to meddling and talking amongst the winners. This is all new for him, man. So I just want y'all to be mindful of the fact that he doesn't know what it's like to mix it up with these kinds of folk. So I just want y'all to kind of ease him in to this transition of winning. He doesn't know what this is like because he's used to being on the loser side of things. So I'm happy to see the Mister over here. I welcome him to the neighborhood gladly. My question is, can you afford to stay over here? I've seen many people come over here, look at the property, and then when they find out how much it costs to actually live over here, ah, man, this is a little too rich for my blood. And that's fine. Know your limitations. Not everybody can afford to live over here, man. It's costly. Costs a nice little grip to stay over here, man. But it's good to see the Mister over here, man. Let's see how long you stay. Kevin! My man Kevin. Kevin! Kevin's been up and down, man. When Kevin's good, he's really good. When Kevin's bad, he's really bad. And I can say that for a lot of you. But specifically Kevin. You know, when Kevin's on, Kevin's 12-2. Kevin's 11-3. Kevin's 13-3. When Kevin's bad, when the tough gets going and Kevin gets going, Kevin will easily drop a 6-8, 7-7 on your skull. So it's good. It's just good to see Kevin putting together some good weeks, man. And 13-3, that's an outstanding record for my man Kevin. Same thing can be said for Jaleel. You know, me and Jaleel, I honestly need to go back because I remember right before that last episode, I said, Jaleel, you look like you on the verge of going 6-8 on me. And then I missed that next week. So I don't know what Jaleel did, but Jaleel has had his ups and downs. He was trending in the wrong direction for a minute there, but there was light at the end of the tunnel for Jaleel, man. And he found his way out, man. He found his way out of the darkness, found the light, and it's good to see that Jaleel is back on track. And I want to see Jaleel stay there. All right? So we'll see if Jaleel is able to do that or not. As a matter of fact, I'm so curious now. I didn't talk myself into going back and seeing what Jaleel did last week. No one did really bad last week. Last week was another easy week for the most part. But let's see what Jaleel did last week. 8-6. I told you Jaleel was going to do some garbage last week. It's all good, Jaleel, man. 13-3. It's all good, man. All right, let's get to the next list of 13-3s. Travis B, BK Soldier, MJ, RJ, Sin Day Co. Let me not mess that up. And Ginger Callum, along with my man Pepe, the YouTuber, rounding out the group of 13 and 3ers. So Travis B got here late, and he said, look, it's not too late to still be great. And so he's slowly but surely climbing up the leaderboard. And, you know, there's only so far Travis B can get, but it's always rewarding and refreshing to see you get through another line. And I you know, have separated each group by 10s with a color of delineation. And every week, it's got to be rewarding to see that you've climbed up another color of delineation. That means you've jumped to another group of 10. So, Travis B started out down in the teens and he hit the 20s, into the 30s. Now he's somewhere in that 40, 50 range, and he's climbing, man. And that win percentage is getting up there, man. So good to see Travis B putting in more work. 13-3, great week for him. BK Soldier, I told you, quietly, man, he's been a soldier. And as his Jags have been putting in work, so has he in these picks weekly. He's been putting in some quality picks, man. Another one of these dudes like my man Eduardo O'Neal, who just quietly is moseying along. Shh, don't tell nobody I'm trying to sneak into the top 15, top 10. That's BK Soldier for you, man. I got to watch his ass because I'm watching him out the corner of my eye like, hey, man, where you going? He's like, man, I'm just trying to get in the top 10. That's it. That's all. I am, though. I say, hey, nah, you need to calm your ass down. But 13-3s, that's how you position yourself for the kill. So I got to watch him, man, because I wasn't happy last week or 2 weeks ago. I was out of the top 10 for the first time all year long. That shit didn't sit well with me. And it's guys like BK Soldier that's like, hey, man, I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to win. And I'm like, hey, bruh, know your role. Shut your mouth. Sit back at 15 or 17 and be easy. And he's like, nah, that ain't good enough for me. I'm watching you, BK Soldier, man. But another quality week for BK Soldier 2010 as he is making a power move, trying to get to the top. MJ Meyer, 10. Just like Travis B, got here a little bit late. But, again, never too late to be great. And he's been putting in some work of late. He got off to a little bit of a bumpy start. Was hovering around 500 there for a little while. And then he started to turn it up. And he's been turning it up of late. And he's starting to make some moves himself. And let's see, last week he was 10-4. This week he's 13-3. So, like I said, he's starting to turn it up a little bit. And that 13-3, that's a strong statement from my man MJ Meyer. RJ West, remember, he didn't know where he was going. Just a month and a half ago, RJ West was going west, south, east, north, northeast, northwest, southwest. He didn't know where the hell he was going. His compass was sending him all over the earth. But now he has found his footing. He's making quality picks week in and week out. And RJ West is really starting to he's starting to get it. And he's another one of those guys quietly making some power moves. So with some of these guys, it's just a matter of, is there enough time for them to try to crack the top 10? Because they're making quality picks and they're gaining ground every week. But will they gain enough ground in enough time to make it before the end of the season? We'll see. RJ West is another one of those guys. Sin Day Co has been really good this year, man. I've been surprised. He's another one of those guys that I've looked at and said, wow, he's made some really good picks this year. I wasn't expecting much from him. And he's wowed me because he went from right around 20 to 15 to all of a sudden now he's in the top 10. He leapfrogged me, and I was like, hey, where the hell are you going, man? He's like, peace, man. I ain't got time to be talking to you, man. You a loser. I'm like, wait a minute. You talking to me? He's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. You behind me, right? I said, yeah, okay. So he's another one of those guys that I got to reach out and touch. So the long arm of the law, I got a couple of people that I got to reach out and touch. Sindeko is one of them, but I got to stop picking against his Panthers. I thought they were primed and set up for a loss against the Jets. And the Jets reminded me why they the Jets. And the Panthers said, look, we may not be the best, but we not the worst. And good teams in this league find a way to win. It wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win. And so I had to take an L. And that's the difference between me and Sindeko this week is he picked his boys. I didn't pick them. And so I take that L. He takes the dub, and he gets 13-3. And I had to settle for 12-4. Ginger Callum is another winner this week at 13-3 that when Ginger Callum is on, boy, Ginger Callum has put up some numbers this year when Ginger Callum has been on. But when Ginger Callum is off, we talking piss cup off, 5-7 off, 4-10 off, okay? There is a big discrepancy in good Ginger Callum and bad Ginger Callum. You know, I've talked about Sean Mack all year long and how there's not a huge difference. Big John is another one. Not a real big difference between bad Big John, bad Sean Mack, and good Big John, good Sean Mack. Not really a big difference. When Big John is bad, he's 7-7. That's the worst you're gonna get out of Big John. 500. Big John is normally gonna be 9-5 on a 14-game week, 10-4, 11-3, somewhere in there. You're not gonna see Big John go 5-9. Sean Mack always hovering around 9 every week, 8, 9, 10. Ginger Callum will put 13-2 on your skull. Follow that up with 11-4, and then the next week be 5-10. Like, where they do that at? In Pittsburgh. But nonetheless, 13-3. That's good Ginger Callum right there. And this is a week for everybody to be good, and that included Ginger Callum putting in more work. Pepe the YouTuber, another one of these cats, quietly trying to make power moves. I feel like I got a good grasp on him, though. I'm like, hey, man, you stay behind me and don't you dare get in front of me. I think I've got a good handle on keeping him behind me. So I feel good about that. But Pepe has been putting in some work as well. And he rounds out the 13-3 group in week number 12. As we move on to the 12-4 crew. Again, very hefty group here. The second most winners this week belong to this group. Again, it was an easy week. Really, 12 should be as low as you went this week. There's no reason to have less than 12 wins. And if you went out on a limb on a couple of games and tried to be special, you ended up 12-4, and that's fine. Because you got to weigh the pros and cons of making some selections, and the risk was much lower than the reward. The reward was huge if you were able to get a Jets, or you were able to get and 2 losses right off the bat for most people in Kansas City and Jacksonville. All right, but after those 2, if you went out on a limb, like I did, Detroit, Matthew Stafford, 1 throwaway. He was so bad in that game. Missed a touchdown to Theo Riddick on a screen. That would have been a walk-in touchdown. Settled for a field goal. Missed Golden Tate at the end of the game, which would have given them the lead late. Over the middle. Easy touchdown. Overshoots him by about 5 yards on a seam ball. We gave it a run, but Matthew Stafford didn't want to give us one. You went with the Jets. They had every opportunity to win that game. So, if you went out on a limb somewhere, and it didn't have to be. It could have been Dallas that you went out on a limb for. Whatever the case may be. You ended up 12-4. Vegeta's Dark Side. My man Joey Sharp. Money Miz. Petey Pablo. B. Sully. Starts off the 12-4 group. Vegeta's Dark Side. Been revving up the engine of late. And I asked to see the bright side of things with Vegeta, and he said, yeah, I got you. And so things have been looking up. Things have been a lot more sunnier over there with Vegeta. But I got a feeling. It's just a little bit of a hunch, but I got a feeling there are more dark days to come for Vegeta over the next couple of weeks. So I'm expecting this next week to be a week where Vegeta's dark side shows itself big time. So 12-4 was great for him this week, but I'm looking for Vegeta to really, really go back to the dark side this week. Joe Sharp. That's my boy Joey Sharp. I told him we could be friends, man. I said, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends, Joe? Joe said, hey, look, man, I'm down. I said, hey, Joe, we can be friends if you coming over to the winning side. I can't do the losing thing with you, man. And then remember, Joe went like 15 or 14-0. And then Joe went back to being average Joe. Like 6-8 the next week. But that's my guy. Joe, me and Joe, we hang tough, man. And we've been together for much of this year, man. When we've been pretty low, I always can look to my right and I see Joe. When we go high, I look to the sky and I see my man Joe. And so I'm 12-4 this week. Guess who's 12-4 right next to me? My man Joey Sharp. So that's my boy. We'll see if we're still friends next week, because things are really about to get serious. And you know Joe will go dull on us real quick. We know Joe can be pretty sharp, like he was when he was 14-0. But we know Joe can be pretty dull too. So we'll see what happens. Money Miz. That's my guy. Money Miz is my guy. And Money Miz is back to talking his shit. You know, he loves to talk his shit. So I said, hey, go talk your shit again, man. So I love it. I want more of it. I told him I want more. Give me more, man. So he went 12-4. I went 12-4. This is a decisive week. Because if I'm not mistaken, Money Miz is right there in the standings, hovering around. He's close. He's within striking distance. I got that mean LT stiff arm waiting for his ass, though. No, you don't. You're not catching me, brother. So I invite Money Miz to give me his best shot. Give me what you got. But you ain't got enough money to get at your man Louie T. So we going to see what you got next week. Because like I said, we going to really draw the line in the sand between winners and losers next week. Everybody doesn't get a participation trophy next week. Week 13 is about to make a real honest prognosticator out of a lot of y'all liars. A lot of y'all been getting by, been skating on some easy-ass games. Not next week. No, you won't. We're going to find out. P.D. Pablo. P.D. Pablo has been pretty good lately, man. P.D. Pablo has probably been one of the highest risers of late. Let's see what P.D. did last week, though. Did P.D. even send me any pics last week? I think he might have been one of the people I was disappointed in for not sending me pics. Yeah. I think you were somebody that didn't send me pics last week, which was disappointing because you were on the rise. And it's tough when you don't send them in for a week. That really sets you back. But when he does send in pics, he's been outstanding. So 12-4. I can honestly say P.D. Pablo has really been turning it up. And since I've been giving him a lot of flack about his thumbnail, he's been pretty good of late. My man Sully, B Sully, came to the party late, but he's been putting in a little bit of work too. Let me go back to last week and see what B Sully did. 9-5, not bad, not great, but not bad. This week 12-4. So my man B Sully starting to really settle in, man. He was one of those guys along with Travis B and MJ and J Cam, man, all those guys that came in on that last wave of winners and losers. He came in with that group, and he's been putting in some work. And I remember asking, was he serious? Were you going to be around? And not only has he been around, but he's been putting in some work. So good to see B Sully up here with the winners at 12-4. That's a good mark for him in week number 12. As we go on to my man Jazzy E, FBG Tony, Tucktown, AZ 88, Carmen Rana, Brown Shoe T2, and yours truly, Louie T. To round out the 12-4 gang, gang, 12-4. We representing the last of the elite winners this week. And Jazzy E said, hey, look, I'm on the come up. Catch up, y'all losing. I'm on the come up. I'm about to show y'all how it's done. And 12-4, that's on the right track. But like I've said before, Jazzy E, you changed your name. Okay. I've seen Jazzy E put in some quality work like 12-4, and I've seen this man hit the depths of despair. Okay. I've seen this man be over there borderline drunk off of the piss cup. So I got my eye on Jazzy E this week, because week 13, again, it's going to make a lot of y'all cats who've been over here styling and profiling, balling on a budget, a lot of y'all gonna go broke next week. FBG Tony, man, I'm just happy to see you, bro. I'm just happy to know that you back, man. Similar to what I said to my man J Moo, I'm just happy that you back, man. Because you was missing, you was MIA. And I was like, I don't know you, bro. Y'all my road dogs, and it's tough when I can't look to my left, look to my right, and know I got my guys holding me down. So it's just good to see you back, man. Welcome back. Tucktown, AZ. Another one of these cats, up and down, up and down. So good to see Tucktown in town. But the question with Tucktown is always, how long are you in town? You gonna hang around or you gonna be out next week? We gonna see. Carmen Rana. Hey man, Carmen Rana, it's not really much for me to say, man. Carmen Rana he's that dude. You know. Carmen Rana, when he's good, he's among the best. I call him the silent assassin. He don't say shit. He just send in picks, win 13 games. Send in picks, win 12 games. Send in picks. Then he might drop off to 8, 7. Then he's back up to 10, 11. When he's good, he's really good. And what his really good does is it cancels out when he's bad. Because when he's good, he's 14-1. He's 13-2. He's 12-4. When he's bad, yeah, he's 7-7. He'll even drop to 6-8 every now and again. But he's so good when he's good that you forget about the 7-7 and the 8-6. Because for the last 3 weeks, he was 14-1, 12-2, and 13-3. And then every now and again, he's gonna throw that stinker in there. He's gonna 7-6? Where'd that come from? But yeah, he's gonna redeem himself. And he's among the top of the leaderboard, and for good reason. Brown Shoe T2, another one of these dudes like Sindeko, where I just said, what the hell has gotten into you? I didn't see that coming from Brown Shoe T2. He was mediocre at best last year. And I know he keeps telling me, I wasn't that bad last year. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. You were okay, but you were bad for much of the year last year. He's been outstanding this year, man. He's another guy that I just can't shake. I'm like, hey, Brown Shoe, what are you doing here, man? Seriously, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Scram, get out of here. Iraposi. Get out of here. I can't get rid of this dude, man. I'm eventually, like I said, I've got a list. It's a short list of dudes that are in front of me that I'm going to reach out and touch. Brown Shoe T2 is on that list of guys that are in front of me. They have no business in front of me. And because of that, they got to move. But he's been outstanding. Haven't been able to shake him just yet. But I think week 13 is the beginning of the end for a lot of these cats. Squints and Brown Shoe T2 and Sindeko. Next week is the beginning of the end for these cats that I feel like been pretending all year long. Not pretending. Pretending to be better than me is specifically what I'm getting at. Brown Shoe T2 has been outstanding this year. And so it's time for him to stop pretending to be better than me, because you're not. Sindeko, it's time for you to stop pretending you're better than me, because you're not. Squints, it's time for you to stop pretending that you're better than me, because you're not. It's time for y'all to get the hell out of the way, man. Big John, it's time for you to get out of the way, man. Stop pretending. So, 12-4 for the good guy this week. I went out on a limb, and I was cool with the Buffalo loss. I was cool with the Jacksonville loss. Would have preferred Jacksonville found a way to win that game, but okay. What I wasn't cool with was the Detroit loss, because they should have won. And what I wasn't cool with was the Jets. I felt good about that one. I felt really strong about that one. They let me down. But 12-4, I live with that. Not good enough. Not for where I want to go. Excuse me. But it's a step in the right direction. So we move on. to the 11 and 5 crew. Kanye the God, J Cam Man 99, Toe and Kanye the God has been up and down, up and down, up and down. God damn it, he's been up and down. Last week he was 8 and 6, and that's what I'm talking about. The lack of consistency kills me. Like I said, he's the perfect reflection of his namesake. He's exactly like Kanye West. The lack of consistency in the quality of music kills me because I know what the guy's capable of. The lack of consistency in quality picks kills me with Kanye because I know what he's capable of. I've seen Kanye be one of the best. I've also seen Kanye be one of the worst. But 11 and 5, not bad. But to me, 11 and 5 is unacceptable this week. It's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. But you on the low end of the block. Yeah, you're in Winnersville. You're in the winner's circle. But you at the end of the block where the people with real money, they actually don't go down to that end of the street. It's a little dangerous down there. You know how if you've ever been to Miami, you go to the Heat arena, the Heat arena, where they play their games. I don't know what it's called, but I just know, like, 2 blocks from the arena that the Heat play at is the dock for which you get on the boat when you're going on a cruise, when you're docking out of Miami. And 2 blocks away from the stadium and the docks is Overtown. Like, you make 2 wrong left turns and you are in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. I watched the first 48. I've told you this before. They had like 5 murders in the span of like 2 weeks. Like, the year had just started and Overtown already had like 14 murders in like the first 2 weeks. It's crazy out there. Like, that's what 11 and 5 is this week. Like, 13 and 3, 14 and 2, that's like the Heat arena. And 2 blocks away is 11 and 5, 10 and 6. Like, you roll through that neighborhood, make sure you lock your doors, roll your windows up, be safe, because it's a little dangerous down there. J Cam Man 99, solid. And like I said, along with my man B Sully, Travis B, MJ, all of those cats that came on the scene a little bit later on, he's been trying to put in work. So I can appreciate 11 and 5, but hey, I'm gonna need you to be better. This was a 12 and 4, 13 and 3, 14 and 2 type week. No excuse for 11 and 5. Toe I know why you got 11 and 5. I'm going to need you to understand that it's not okay to pick the Green Bay Packers when they play in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you guys gave it a hell of a run. You couldn't have thought you guys were going to win. You couldn't have seriously thought you were going to win that game. And you almost did, which was a hell of a surprise and shock to most. Maybe not to you. But you couldn't have seriously, after getting shut out by the Ravens at home, you couldn't have seriously thought you were going to turn around and beat the Ravens or beat the Steelers on the road on a Sunday night. No way. No way, I'm not buying it. Cost you a game. And you're probably one of those, because if you're going to pick your team after not scoring the week previous, you're one of those guys that's going to pick your team no matter what. Cool. Fine by me. More losses for you, more wins for me. I'm all for it. Huh! Why are you going 11 and 5, man? Huh? It's been a rough year for you, dude. I know you're slowly healing up over there. You're on the mend. You took another BB to one of your wings. But for as rough a go as it's been for you this year, you're still in the top 20, man. So I still tip my cap at you, but it's been a rough go for you this year. And you my boy. So I hate to see you struggle the way that you're struggling. But you got a chance to finish up strong. And I'm looking forward to seeing you do that. So I'm going to keep my eye on you, man. I'm going to try to be a little bit of protection for you if I can. So hopefully you can finish up strong, man, because it's been a rough go of it for you this year. As we go to the last line of the winners this week, 10-6, Mark Vaughn and Smoking Jay. And much like the 11-5 cats, this is not a great record for week 12. That's like, they literally just got into the winner's circle. Like, my man Smoking Jay, he knows what time the methadone clinic closes. He knows 10-6. He knows the time. So why you going to show up at 5:45, Smoking Jay? If you want your methadone treatment, you need to show up earlier than that. You know it's 10-6. Why you showing up at 5:50, man? Why you showing up at 5:45? We about to lock the door, man. We not letting no more people in. I know you need your treatment. You can't go the entire weekend without your methadone. So why would you show up that late and run the risk of not getting your fix? Come on, man. Come on, Smoking Jay. I'm trying to help you, bruh. You know the rules to the game, then play. I'm going to let you in this time. 10-6. You know what time we shut it down. That's for the rest of the season. All right? 10 gets you in. We close at 6. Not a second later. You're cutting it close, man. We open at 10. We close at 6. You can't get here before then. You want to show up at 9. We're not open yet. You want to get here at 7. We close. You know what time it is. 10-6. Get you in. Even if barely, you need your treatment. Show up on time. I can appreciate that, Smoking Jay. Just get here a little sooner, though, man. I'm nervous when it comes to you. Just get here a little sooner. Mark Vaughn, you one of these iffy cats. Let me check Mark Vaughn and see what he did last week. Mark Vaughn, 9-5 last week. You one of them iffy cats. I got my eye on you, Mark Vaughn. You a little iffy. But 10-6, you made it. You just made it. It's all right, because you saved by the bell. Don't get here late next week, though. Much like I told Smoking Jay, you might get here late. All right. So, those are your winners. Unfortunately, in a week where just about everybody won, there still were some guys that just can't get right. And so, I just told Smoking Jay what time the clinic opens and closes. 10-6 are our operating hours. Disco jump rope just missed out. Matter of fact, this ain't a disco, hand me the damn jump rope. This ain't ha ha, he he, ha ha, let's have fun. No, you don't get the dance, you don't get the jump rope, you don't get the chew gum. Give me all of that shit. You sit your ass down and make quality picks. Ain't no disco, ain't no jump rope. Sit down and make good picks. Because in a week like week 12, where everybody got a participation trophy, all you had to do was show up and you got a participation trophy. You didn't have to disco, you didn't have to jump rope. You just had to show up. And there was a trophy with your name on it. A gold pendant. A sticker that said, "You're great. Great job." All you do is show up. Juice box, bag of chips, trophy, gold pendant, sticker. Everybody got one. Except you. Come on, man. I know you got here a little late to the party. Sure, I understand. Put the damn jump rope down. This ain't no time for dancing. Let's make some quality picks, man. Now, I'm going to give y'all one guess. One guess. Who got the piss cup this week? I'm going to give y'all about 10 seconds. I'm going to just sit here, and I'm going to let y'all guess who got the piss cup this week. Y'all figured it out yet? 5-11. How do you go 5-11? I really feel like I'm being trolled here. I looked at his picks and I said, I feel like this guy is taunting me to the point where I'm about to Josh Gordon this dude. I'm about to blackman this cat, man. I'm about to suspend this man indefinitely in a second. Because this is getting out of hand now. Now you're laughing in my face and you pointing at me. Because you know I'm coming to drug test you. You know I'm going to come and have you piss in this cup after the game. And you still smoking weed. So now you don't respect my authority. That's what I feel like. And you know, he had the audacity to tell me, I'm about to go in the winner's circle. I'm coming for you, Lou. Yeah? Oh, yeah? I don't mingle with broke folks, man. I don't know who you coming for. Is there another Lou that I don't know about? I ain't never seen you before, man. I ain't never seen you around the way. I ain't never seen you on my block. Hell, when I make my 1 or 2 pilgrimages over to the Losersville, I still ain't never seen you over there, man. I barely set foot over there. Man, you in the hood, bro. You in the parts of Losersville where it ain't safe to go. Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stairs. You know they just don't care. Y'all know who the hell I'm talking about, man. Alright. Bailamos. Let the rhythm take you over. Bailamos. Te quiero. Amo mío. Bailamos. Enrique Iglesias. Dance. Living la vida loca. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this dude, man. I'm speechless, man. Y'all just piss on this dude, man. I already told you, he's forever pissy. Even when he doesn't have the piss cup, his name is just gonna remain pissy all year long. But I don't know what to do with this guy anymore, man. I'm on the verge. He got one more week, and just so you know, just so y'all know, last week, remember, I suspended this man for a week. So he took a week off, and he came back last week, and he was the worst person last week at 4-10. And this week he was 5-11, man. I'm really on the verge of suspending this man indefinitely. Like, seriously. Get him out of here. But that's winners and losers this week, man. Y'all, I don't know. I might take some suggestions from y'all. I don't know what to do with Enrique anymore, man. Like, I'm at my last wit with this guy. Like, you defy me again. I'm about to slam the hammer down on him, man. Cause being pissy ain't enough for him, man. He don't care about the piss cup no more. This man is infinitely pissy. His clothes smell like piss. He's the cat in the back. He's the cat in the back of the classroom. Don't nobody sit by because he smell like piss. You know the dude on Peanuts, what's his name? Dirtbag? I think his name's Dirtbag. The cat with all the dirt hanging around him. That's Enrique, man. Infinitely pissy, man. Just dripping with piss. He don't give a damn. He know he stink. He don't care. You know that's the worst type of cat. The one that know they stink and don't give a damn. Like, how you gonna be around people and you know you smell like shit? Or you know your breath stink, but you all in people's face. Come on, man. You know your shit stink. Pop in a couple pieces of gum or something. At least try. He don't give a damn. He ain't even trying. He know he stink and he don't care. Y'all go ahead and check out these overall standings while I just kind of sit here and reflect on what the hell Enrique is doing. So, those are the overall standings. Hopefully you were able to find where you are. And hopefully you're climbing up the overall rankings on the winners and losers pool in 2017. It's been a lot of fun this year. Doing this with you guys. Next year, we're going to try to put a lot more on the line. Maybe a cash prize, you know, and championship belt. You know, we're gonna put some things at stake next year with this thing, man. As it grew this year to heights that I didn't expect. And next year is gonna be a lot more structured. Next year, you're either in from the beginning or you're not. So you guys that are here now that have been participating, you know about it. So don't act like you don't know next year. You know about this. So you need to get in on this at the beginning. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But we're not done yet this year. So looking forward to finishing out the year strong and seeing if I can somehow, some way still get my hands on that top spot. But my man B.E., I don't know, man. B.E. is not loosening up his grip on that #1 spot. So we'll see what happens. But I got a lot of people I got to get to before I can even talk to B.E. Like, you know how I always say, hey, I'm not even talking to you until you get to 500. I don't want to talk about playoffs and you 5 and 6. Don't talk to me about playoffs. Playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk to me about the playoffs and you ain't at 500 or better. Don't talk about B.E., catching B.E. You got like 6, 7, 8, 10 dudes in front of you, man. Get them first. So, got a lot of work to do, man. In any event, let's get to some comments before I give you my picks and we get out of here. All right. Let's go all the way to the top. Keep rising to the top. Try to get all the way to the top. I bet my man B.E. is just killing everybody. Me especially. See what we got. John Perez says, NFC East family business tomorrow. Redskins, Cowboys, hashtag can't wait, hashtag HTTR. I'm with you, bro. I am with you. John Perez also says, do you still have the big board and the handy dandy pointer from your earlier lab room episodes? If so, will you consider bringing them back? I've still got the whiteboard. I've since upgraded. The handy dandy pointer, I still have him as well, yes. So they're still there. Maybe one day. BE says 15-1. Get on my level, and my Cardinals won for the first time this season, and I went 10 wins or over, and my team won. Yeah, man. When the Cardinals won, I said, "Oh shit, BE killing it again." I didn't even know what you had at that point. I just knew you picked the Cardinals, and they won, and I said, "Man, damn it, man." BE says the only game I got wrong was picking the Chiefs to beat the Bills. Yeah, BE's just hot, man. It's hard, man. It's hard to catch up to a dude when he ain't even giving you a shot. That's how you supposed to do it, though, man. You get a chance to put a stranglehold on the number one spot. That's what you do, man. You crush the clavicle. In this case, he ain't trying to crush our shoulder blade. He trying to crush our windpipe. Stop us from breathing. Kevin says, I'm on a roll. Kevin has been better of late. BE says, I was so close to a perfect 16-0. Damn Chiefs. Somebody's going to get it. If we have another week like that, somebody's going to get 16-0. Eduardo O'Neill says, as long as I stay in the top 10, I don't mind you staying in the top 10. You just got to get the hell behind me. So I got to find a way to get in front of you, man. Kevin says, are the Packers going to make the playoffs? Nah, bro. Not this year. I don't think so. Not this time. The NFC's too strong. In those past years, when Aaron Rodgers was able to get hurt and the Packers were able to stay afloat until he got back, the NFC was weak. His division, the NFC North, was weak because he was able to come back and still win the division. Not this year. Not happening. BE says, it's okay the Cardinals play the Rams, which means we will probably lose, which means I will still pick them and I will still get double-digit wins. Hey, that's all I want to hear from you is that you're going to continue to pick the Cardinals. That's it. That's all I can ask for. BK Soldier 2010 says, do you think that the benching of Eli could mean the end of his time with the Giants, and if so, could he go to the Jaguars? Yeah, the benching of Eli Manning doesn't necessarily mean he's done in New York because their head coach, Ben McAdoo, is getting fired at the end of the season. He's gone. I think their general manager, Jerry Reese, also will be exiting stage left. And so if you bring in a front office guy that says, hey, that's Eli Manning. He's not done yet. Are you crazy? And you bring in a coach that feels the exact same way. Eli's back in. They're healthy again. Odell Beckham's back. I don't know if Brandon Marshall is going to be back next year or not, but I think he signed a 2-year deal. He's back. Sterling Shepard. All of a sudden, you got a full complement. Evan Ingram, a year better. And all of a sudden, Eli's back. Maybe they fixed and fortified. They're so bad this year. They're going to have a top 10 pick. They can get themselves a quality offensive tackle. All of a sudden now, they feel good about themselves, and Eli's back in the saddle. But more realistically, more likely, his time in New York is done. He's going to want out. They're going to allow him to leave. And Tom Coughlin, having the history that he has with Eli Manning, everyone is connecting the dots. Usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. That seems to be the most logical destination for him if he were to leave. It's not happening this year. It's not happening in time for the Giants or in time for the Jags to make a run at the Super Bowl this year. which is what you probably want, but he could be there next year. This is going to be the most intriguing offseason from a quarterback standpoint I've ever seen. Because Drew Brees is going to be a free agent, even though I don't think he's leaving New Orleans after the way they've performed this year. But he's a free agent. Kirk Cousins is a free agent. Andy Dalton could be out of his contract. A.J. McCarron could be out of his contract in Cincinnati. You've got Teddy Bridgewater, whose deal could possibly be up in Minnesota. You've got Sam Bradford, who will be a free agent. Case Keenum, I never thought I would say Case Keenum is a free agent and he's going to be actually sought after, but Case Keenum is a free agent. Jimmy Garoppolo, who just signed with who was just traded to the 49ers, will be a free agent. I don't think he's leaving San Francisco, but again, all of these quarterbacks, free agents for a bunch of teams. And now add Eli Manning to that list. Wow. There's a lot of stuff at the quarterback position available this offseason. Love to see where those dominoes end up falling. Cloud says, I'm soaring up that pick board. Andrew Kim says, I think we see Pat Mahomes if the Chiefs lose this week. They've been denying. But if they lose this week, drop to 6-6, and the Raiders are going to win. They're playing the Giants. And the Chargers are going to win. They're playing the Browns. And you're looking at a three-way tie for first place, you could see Pat Mahomes. Now, again, if they lose the game, but Alex Smith performs well, and the defense, let's just say they lose in a shootout to the Jets 34-31. Alex Smith throws for 330, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Completion percentage of 67%, but they just can't get a stop defensively. Maybe you don't see Pat Mahomes. But if he plays the way he's been playing of late, where he's been struggling, they've been denying, but I think you might see Patrick Mahomes. We'll see. BE says, so is it safe to say that this crown is mine? Ha 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 ha. What is this, 7 weeks straight I've held the crown? Yeah, man. It's been a while. I can't even remember the last time you've relinquished it. You've shared it a couple of times, but you haven't given it up. JFT Network says, what are your thoughts on the crazy AFC wildcard spots? So right now, I feel like one of the wildcard spots will be devoted to the AFC South. Whoever doesn't win that division is getting one of the wild cards. That's how I feel right now. That could change, okay? But they play in the AFC South. So, for instance, the Jaguars get the Colts this week. They're going to beat the Colts, right? I don't think they're done with Houston either. I think they get Houston one more time at home. Like, they're going to win those games. Same thing can be said for Tennessee. Because they play in a division that's so garbage, they've got more wins coming their way. I don't think Tennessee is done with Houston yet. I know they're done with Indy. They just finished sweeping them. So I said that to say this. I think 2 AFC South teams are getting it. One's winning the division, the other's winning the wild card. That leaves the 6th and final wild card spot up for grabs. I think that anything could happen with that spot. For a long time, there were visions of a below 500 team getting one of those spots. Now, all of a sudden, Baltimore's playing better football. They're over 500. Buffalo has seemed to right the ship. They're over 500 at 6-5. You've got Cincinnati on the doorstep of 500. You've got Oakland on the doorstep of 500, even though I don't think the Raiders are good enough. They're right there. You've got the Chargers on the doorstep of not only, in all of these teams, Chargers, Raiders, not only on the doorstep of 500 in that last wild card, they're on the doorstep of winning the AFC West. So what seemed like a foregone conclusion a long time ago, Chiefs are going to win the AFC West, all of a sudden now is up for grabs. So that last wild card could fall in the hands of anybody. The Chiefs could lose the division, still get a wild card. The Bills could end their 17-year streak of missing the postseason and get the wild card. The Ravens, who I think are the favorite to find a way to nudge out everybody else and get that final wild card in the AFC, it's 6-5. They could get it. There's so many things that could happen. All of a sudden now the AFC wild card is starting to shape up and look like an intriguing finish. Where as before we're like, who gives a damn? Somebody might get in at 7-9. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Chargers are playing good football. Here comes the Cincinnati Bengals. Here comes the Baltimore Ravens. Here come the Buffalo Bills. Someone's going to take that final wild card berth by the horns and run away with it. BE says, I ain't falling, man. At this point, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. BE says, all of you fighting for second place, I'm winning this thing. Vincent Coe says, thoughts on Dwayne Brown's impact for the Seahawks so far? He's outstanding. It's exactly what they needed. There was a particular play that I highlighted in the game. They had a screen to J.D. McKissick, and he just goes out and absolutely flattens the defensive back on that side, opens up the biggest lane for J.D. McKissick, who takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line, and that possession ends up in a touchdown for the Seahawks. And it's that kind of play from Dwayne Brown that's going to change the game for the Seahawks offensively. Now the question becomes, can he stay healthy because he's dealt with an injury already in Seattle? And how's the defense going to hold up? Those are my two questions for Seattle. But Dwayne Brown's impact, you can't begin to describe what he's going to mean for that Seahawks offensive line, because for so long, they've been looking for a left tackle, and that includes Russell Okung. They've been looking for a left tackle, a real left tackle, and they've got one now. So that's going to make Russell Wilson feel so much more comfortable on his backside. Like, I don't have to worry about getting blindsided, at least not from the tackle spot. I don't know what's going on at guard, but he can feel good and rest easy knowing that Dwayne Brown's protecting his blind side. So it's a huge impact. BE says, I'm picking them every week, and when we lose, I get 10-plus wins. Well, as long as I hear you say that, I feel good. Bolt Up 801 says, at this point in the season, who you got to win the AFC West? Right now, I'm begging the Chargers to come take that division from the Chiefs, but I still haven't given up on the Chiefs yet. They've hit a really rough patch. For as bad as they've played, they still lead this division, and they still got time to right the ship. And the most dangerous team, or the MDT, the most dangerous threat to their division crown hopes, are the Chargers. Well, they've already beaten the Chargers once in Los Angeles. So they have all the tools necessary to find a way to hold on to this division. So I'm not quitting on the Chiefs yet, because I don't think the Raiders are good enough. And they've already beaten the Chiefs once, but I don't think the Raiders are good enough to come back and win this division. The only team that I think is good enough to come back and steal this division away from the Chiefs are the Chargers. But I think the Chiefs are in a good enough spot that they can win this week and find a way to sweep the Chargers and hold them off, hold them at bay. And the Chargers have a tough schedule down the stretch. Their schedule is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. They've got some toughies left. So I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to do it, but they're playing some great football right now. So we'll see what happens. Pepe the YouTuber says, currently in full sick mode, watching to feel better. Man, I hope you feel better, bro. It sucks when you don't feel well. So I hope you feel better, man. Definitely. B says, why do you keep saying you're going to catch me? It ain't happening. Because I got to shoot for something, man. I'm one of these cats. Look, I don't ever set the bar low. Losers set the bar low so that they can hit it and attain their goal. I'm a winner, man. So I set the bar high and I go chase it. You're the bar right now. You're the gold standard. The bar's all the way up here. You've set the bar high. So I'm coming after you. Forget all the other clowns that's beneath you. You're what I attain and strive to be. So that's where I set the bar, and that's why I keep talking about trying to catch you. John Perez says, did you see LeBron ejection yesterday? Nope, I did not see it. BE says, is that the TV or are there cops driving down your street and what did you do? No, that is, I live right by the interstate. So literally if the state troopers are chasing anybody, if anybody gets into an accident, you will hear them fly by. So no, it's not my TV. And I didn't do anything wrong yet, other than trying to find a way to steal first place. Cloud says, Lou, I've actually been pretty consistent this past month. Yeah, I told you. That's what I said. You've been on the uptick like your Eagles. It's been a pretty soft schedule, and you've taken advantage. Now we're going to see things are about to get really tough. I want to see how you do, just like your Eagles. John Perez says, Eli's benching is blasphemy, to be honest. The whole Giants organization should be cleaned out at the end of the year as well. And I think it will be when it's all said and done. They're definitely going to have a new head coach. I think Jerry Reese's time is up in New York as well. Jaleel says, I think I went 12-2 the week before. I'm looking at your week before. You went 8-6, brother. I'm looking at your picks. And you picked Chicago, Green Bay, Kansas City, Arizona, Miami, and Oakland. And all of those teams lost last week. So, unless you're talking about the week before that, you went... Jaleel, you went 11-3 before that. Brown Shoe T2 says, I thought I went 13-3 last week. Well, are you talking about week 12? Because there weren't 16 games in week 11 when I wasn't on the program. So if you're talking about week 12, I can look at your picks. I could have made a mistake. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You say you went 13-3. Let's take a look at your picks and see what you did. And I can tell you exactly what I wrote down. Now, what I wrote down and what you might have done might be two different things. But let's see. You picked Dallas. You picked Kansas City. You picked Jacksonville. And you picked Houston. So those were your 4 losses. John Perez says, who is drunk Louie? I asked him because I always see his name at the bottom of the winners and losers standings. Is he your alter ego or something? I don't know who the hell did that. Someone did that out of jest. One night I came up here, and I wasn't drunk. That's the funny part, was I was pissed because I was in the pit of misery. Dilly dilly! I was in the pit of misery. I had a horrible week, and I needed to drink my sorrows away. So I brought a bottle of wine up here in a glass, and I drank the entire bottle, and I was just up here chopping it up, having fun, and apparently somebody thought I was drunk, and I wasn't. And so the next week, there was a drunk Louie, and it was just for 1 week. 1 week cameo, just to make a point, and they've never come back. Reese says, what up, Lou? What do you make of LeBron getting ejected? I thought it was bizarre. All he did was use some language. I didn't see it, so I can't actually speak to it because I'm not even paying attention to the NBA right now, to be honest with you. Football is coming down the stretch, and so I'm really fixated on football right now as we start talking playoffs and all the different scenarios that can play out. Not really watching a lot of basketball. I'm not going to lie to you. Travis B says, since I've been consistently picking since I got here. Can I get that 500 mark for the weeks I wasn't here? I might slide a couple of 500s in there for you, man. I might do that for you. We'll see what happens. John Perez says, not a big wrestling fanatic, but did you see The Undertaker's retirement on national TV a while back? Heard a lot of grown men cried after that. Nah, I don't watch wrestling either, man. I stopped watching wrestling a long time ago. But, I mean, I know The Undertaker's been doing it for a very, very long time, man. Since I can remember. I think his debut was like in 1990 or something like that. I mean, he's been around forever. So the fact that he's retiring now with some 30-some-odd years later, he deserves it, man. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. But, again, I don't watch wrestling, so I didn't see it. Travis B says, in Kingdom we trust. He keeps proving the haters and doubters wrong. I don't know where the hell this guy, I don't know where the hell he's coming from. He's turned the clock back to Houston and not the Texans. I'm talking about back when he was at the University of Houston. He's playing out of his mind, man. I don't know what has gotten into Case Keenum, but, like, this shit is crazy, man. His confidence is growing every week. And I'm not sure if it's the confidence that has been instilled in him because the defense is so good in Minnesota and he knows, look, I don't have to do but so much, or if he just finally, for the first time in his career, feels comfortable as the starter. I don't know what it is, but he's playing outstanding football. BE says, Sean Mack gets a free pass this week due to what happened. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and hit him off with an 8-8. Knowing his situation and what happened to him. Reese says, famous Jameis is back, Lou, but it's head scratching to me. Just today we put Ali Marpet, DeMar Dotson on IR. It seems like Dort Cutter is rushing him back, hoping to save his job. Maybe. If he feels like something, like he is in trouble and his saving grace may be having Jameis Winston in there and being a quarterback whisperer of sorts. Maybe he feels like that's what he has to do. We'll see. BE says, there are only 2 elite winners, me and Ricky L. You all just winners have to have, he says, you all just winners. You have never had a perfect 16-0 week. You almost had 2 this week. Yeah, man, it was an easy week. So I was shocked that somebody didn't go 16-0, to be honest with you. Because when you look at the slate of games, it was so easy to pick. I mean, it really was. It wasn't hard for you guys to go 15-1. All you had to do was pick all the teams that you expect to win, that everybody expected to win. And you went out on a limb because your team is the Cardinals. You picked them, and they came through for you. But other than that, every other game, you picked the team that was favored to win the game, and they won. Like, what's so hard about that? It's a really easy week. I'm trying to read your comment, JFT Network. Sounds like JFT Network wants you guys to check him out. So I don't know what kind of work JFT is doing over on his channel, but give it a look-see. Might be something you might be interested in. So check out JFT Network if you get a second. Reese says, if Dirk isn't gone, Lou, we have to fire Mike Smith. The defense is far too talented to be playing like this. Hey, look, Dirk Cutter is your guy, Ree. So I'm not going to sit here and listen to you complain about him because you tried to sell me a bill of goods about Dirk Cutter, and I told you the man was not head coaching material. And you tried to tell me you haven't felt this good about a coach since Gruden. So I'm not going to sit here and listen to you complain about Dirk Cutter, or as you call him, Dort Cutter. Okay? That's your guy. You're going to have to live with him. Aiden Wynn says, do you think the Falcons have their shit together to the point where they can keep their wild card spot? Not only do I think they have their shit together to the point where I think they can hold on to the wild card spot. I think they can win the division. They still got the Saints twice and Carolina once. They can win those games. So we'll see what happens. B3 says, Falcons lost their best corner to friendly fire. Keanu Neal also lost their slot corner. Vikings have two of the best receivers in the game according to Real Stats. My Falcons in trouble. Keanu Neal is hurt? I need more information. Explain yourself. I didn't know he had hurt himself. Talk to me, B3. I need to be filled in on what's going on. BE says, hey, Hawk is back. He's not dead anymore. Hawk was never dead. He was just wounded. It's a difference. Dead means you don't come back. Wounded means you're on the mend. He was just down. Somebody shot him. He was down. He was on the mend. And he's back now. BE says, that neighborhood going for the record most killings in a year. Hey, man, you got to watch out for some of these neighborhoods out here, man. It's tough. Rough out on these streets. Brandon Sullivan says, hey, I got a nickname. Also, have you considered creating a subreddit for the Louie T channel? Patrons could get mods, a great supplement for the days without YouTube live streams. You got to speak English, man. I have no idea what you're talking about, Sully. B. Sully, explain yourself. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to speak English. Let's see. Oh, y'all were guessing. Y'all thought Bronco Kid went 5-11. Shame. Shame. BE says, read off Enrique's picks. Let's shame him. I don't mind. Let me shame him. So, right off the bat, Enrique didn't put his picks in time for the Thursday games. I didn't get Enrique's picks till like Saturday. So, right off the bat, that's 3 L's right there. Right? So, that's 0-3 right there. So, that's 3 of his 11 losses. But even if I were to give him wins for that, he still would have been 8-8, which is still preposterous, which was still the worst record in winners and losers this week. But he picked Tampa Bay, lost. First of all, who in the hell thought Tampa Bay was going to go into Atlanta and win? Anyway, Cincinnati, Buffalo, he got lucky there. Miami. Really? Miami going to beat the Patriots in New England. This is why I think he's trolling me. Every week. Jets, which I picked the Jets, so I'm not mad at that one. Eagles, Seahawks, Saints. Not mad at that one. A lot of people thought the Saints were going to win. Cardinals, they won. Could have easily have lost. Denver, I'm not mad at that, but I'm not totally excited about a team starting their third starting quarterback of the season on the road against a team that should be able to beat them. Doesn't excite me. Green Bay, really? Beat the Steelers? They almost did it, but seriously, who thought Green Bay was going to beat Pittsburgh after getting shut out at home versus the Ravens the week prior? Like, seriously, who thought Green Bay, off of the shutout loss to the Ravens, was going to go to Pittsburgh on Sunday night and win with Brett Hundley at quarterback? Enrique obviously thought that. Houston, no. And Indy, no. Even though they were close. He's an Indianapolis Colts fan, so I don't cut him slack for that, but I understand the pick. That's how he got to 5-11. It's ridiculous. BE says, I think Enrique is trying for that 0-16 Lions status and soon to be Brown status. Sometimes I feel that way too, BE. Sometimes I feel like he's shooting to get every pick wrong. Black Owl B says, give Enrique... Hey, you stupid for this. Black Owl B says, give Enrique's ass the Pete Rose treatment. Hashtag banned. I can't do the man like that. It crossed my mind. Don't get me wrong. It crossed my mind to just hand out a lifetime ban to this man. But I'm not going to do him like that, man, because the man is trying. He's trying. He's just not trying hard enough. Oh, man. BE says, oh, man, that 5-game lead looks so sweet. Hey, BE get on my nerves, man. I love the way he's rubbing this in, though. He deserves it. He's earned this lead. He deserves to be excited. FBG Tony says, bro, ban Enrique for life. How the hell you go 5-11? What I tell Enrique about jerking off before making his picks for the week? Hey, man, I just don't know, man. BE says, it ain't hard to find where I am. BE be putting some extra sauce up there, boy. The sauce is thick, man. Straight up. FBG Tony says, almost in the top 20. Here I come, y'all. Watch out. 100. BE says, nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Hey, I love it, BE, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Andrew Kim says, I'm just surprised I'm second. I was hovering around the top 5 for a while. Hey, AK, you had that one rough patch, but you've been really consistent, dude. So it doesn't shock me. Enrique says, don't worry, next week for sure I won't do as bad. Hey, you've been saying that for the last month strong, and every week. You never cease to amaze me with just how bad your picks are. Do me a favor, don't say nothing. Just make picks, okay? BE says, okay, he talking to Enrique. I ain't going to get into all that. John Perez says, any chance Jason Garrett gets fired? He always seems to be on the hot seat every damn day. Now, he's not going anywhere. I think Jerry has a built-in excuse for him with the suspension to Zeke Elliott. Before the suspension, the Cowboys were playing good football. They were 5-3. And so in Jerry's mind, if Zeke doesn't get suspended, they're probably somewhere around 7-4, 8-3 right now, instead of 5-6. So I think just based off of the Zeke Elliott suspension, Jason Garrett's going to get another pass this year. BE says, because you wanted to pick the Cardinals this week, but you didn't, you should have picked them versus the Rams. The game is in Arizona. I'm not doing that because I know you picking the Rams or I know you picking the Cardinals. I can't catch up if we have the same picks. So I've got to try to make headway somewhere. John Perez says, next week's plethora of games is going to be an all-out war. That's why I know there won't be, out of 48 participants, there won't be 46 winners next week. I can assure you of that. The Black LB says, are the Eagles for real or just a product of soft competition? No, they're serious. They're for real. Now, they may have had a soft schedule, but they've done what you are supposed to do to inferior teams. It's not like they just barely getting by. They beating the brakes off of the likes of the the Bears and the Niners and the Broncos. They smoking those teams. They went to Carolina and won. Like, that's not a pushover. They went to the Chargers and won. That's not an easy thing to do. Go beat the Chargers in L.A. They've won some tough games. It's just that they haven't had the stiffest competition. Even when they played the Cowboys for the first time, no Zeke Elliott. So they've done a really good job of beating the teams that they're supposed to and beating them up good. They're serious. They're for real. They're a good football team. Peter Parker says, all y'all can count your blessings that I'm not in this pool. Just wait till next season. Hey, we here, man. We here. We ain't going nowhere. We love when cats talk trash because these pools, these picks, they make a believer out of the non-believer. A lot of these cats that love to talk about what they would do, when you get in here, this pool is deep. And a lot of y'all can't swim. Rodney Ray says, Raiders are right there in the division race and the majority of the fans are screaming tank because they know they're not good enough. The Raiders aren't good enough. But I hate the whole tank angle, but they're not good enough to A, get in the playoffs, and B, if they get there, make any noise. They're not good enough. The Soundwave 92 says, honestly, the more info you read into the Giants, and the shitters Eli situation seems shittier. The Eli situation seems to get. Hope he wises up and asks for a trade by the offseason. I think he'll be out of there. I really do. BE says, can't wait for next year with the pick'em. Dilly dilly. This year's ain't done yet. You talking about next year. John Perez says, I'm not a fan of the 3 and out rule. I think the league should change it to a 4 and out, 5 and out. Michael Thompson says, Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, pick one. Really? Bruce Lee, OG. John Perez says, what are your thoughts on Tennessee Volunteers coaching mess in college football? I've never seen a program so dysfunctional, and the AD might lose his job over this. Bottom line is, it's a situation where the Tennessee program, and we've seen a fan base do this before. We saw with the Redskins. I talked about this before. How the Redskins fan base, when it was initially reported after Joe Gibbs retired the second time around, that the Redskins were going to hire John Fossel. Jim Fossel. His son is John. The Redskins were thinking about hiring Jim Fossel. And me and the rest of the entire fan base went bananas. A lot of people talked about giving up their season tickets. A lot of people talked about not supporting the team anymore. It was an all-out revolt. And the Redskins backed off of Jim Fossel. Same thing happened here with Tennessee. The problem is the Tennessee program thinks that they're better than what they are. So they want one of the big name coaches. They don't think Greg Schiano is good enough for them. They think that they are supposed to be able to go out on the streets and pluck the biggest and best name out there because they're Tennessee. Well, guess what? You haven't been relevant since Philip Fulmer was your coach in the late 90s to early 2000s. You've been a train wreck. You've went through at least 4 coaches, including Lane Kiffin and that whole debacle. You're a joke. Nobody is afraid of the Tennessee program. You're not even one of the best teams in the SEC anymore. You don't get the best talent anymore. You're nobody. You're like the 6th or 7th best team in the SEC. You're a joke. So to think you can run off Greg Schiano because he's not good enough, because you're Tennessee, you deserve this. And they're going to get some bum coach that's going to come in there, not get elite talent, and they're going to continue to be mediocre. Then they're going to fire that coach, and they're going to look around and beat their chest talking about, we're Tennessee, Rocky Top. Who wants to coach Tennessee? And everybody, just like right now, they've been asking every coach under the sun, hey, you want to come to Tennessee? Everyone's told them, no, I'm not leaving my program to come to Tennessee. For what? They asked Jimbo. Jimbo said, leave Florida State for Tennessee? Is you crazy? Yo, you're not crazy. Is you crazy? I'm not leaving my school to come to Tennessee for that dysfunctional mess. Man, you better get out my face. They were tripping. Anyway, BE says, you should totally pick the Cardinals this week since you wanted to pick them last week. Man, I seriously thought about it. Had you not been a Cardinals fan, I would have picked the Cardinals last week. John Perez says, why did Lovey take a college job? I still think he can be an NFL coach with the right team. He has a history of being terrible at hiring coordinators because nobody wanted Lovey Smith, and he wanted to be a head coach. And he's going to end up getting fired if he hasn't already from Illinois. And when you have had the taste of being the head guy for so long, and Lovey was in Chicago for many years and then in Tampa for a couple years, when you get that taste, it's hard to go back to being somebody's coordinator. It's hard to go back to being told what to do, when you're used to being the one handing out the orders, it's hard to be a subordinate. But he might have to swallow his pride and be somebody's coordinator. Because after he fails at Illinois, he's not getting another head coaching job in the NFL. That's not how it works. So he might have to come back and be somebody's coordinator. I don't know if his ego will allow him to do it, though. We'll see. How much do you love coaching? That's the question. Enrique says, any advice on getting better picks? Yeah. Pick the team that's supposed to win. Go look. See, it seems like what you're doing is you're looking at the Vegas odds and you're picking the team that's favored to lose the game. So when you see a team with +3 next to their name, that +3 doesn't mean they're expected to win by 3. It means that they're expected to lose by 3 or more. Right? So do me a favor. Pick the teams that Vegas says you're supposed to pick. If Vegas says, hey, that team is going to win, you pick them. That's my advice to you. That's just the starter kit for a cat that's struggling. That's the starter kit. Pick the team that's favored to win. And then then I'll give you more advice from there. Start there, though. BE says, was I the first to 100 wins, or did me and Sean Mack do it at the same time? I think y'all did it right around the same time. Kyle Stokes says, how do you think the Eagles will do against the Seahawks and the Rams coming up? I think the Eagles will beat the Seahawks, but if the Rams are relatively healthy, I could see them losing to the Rams. Because Sean McVay knows the Eagles intimately. He's been playing and game planning for the Eagles for the last 3-4 years now. He knows the Eagles in and out. So I expect him to be able to pick them apart defensively. The Seahawks, on the other hand, they've got some injuries. The Eagles were there last year. They know what that environment is like. Wentz won't be shaken by it. I think they can take the Seahawks out. But I think they could lose to the Rams. But we'll see. Travis B says, what are your thoughts on Herm Edwards taking a coaching job at Arizona State? Hey, man, that coaching itch never fully goes away. There's a reason John Gruden, who is a rock star at ESPN, a rock star, getting paid boatloads of money, still ingrained in the game, but with a lot more time to spend with his family, do whatever the hell he wants to do, a lot less hassle. Everything that he could ask for, he has at ESPN. Money, fame, platform, still closely tied to the game, gets to talk to players and coaches every single week, has his own show with the quarterback camp. He couldn't ask for it any better than this. All the time to play golf he could ask for in the offseason, and yet he still won't commit to not coaching anymore. You know why? Because that itch never goes away. That competitive spirit never goes away. Why the hell do you think I do football pools and survivor pools? Because I got an itch that I just can't scratch. I got to do something competitively. Because I'm so competitive, I've got a competitive itch I've got to scratch. Same thing with coaching. Herm Edwards was a player. He was a coach. And at the end of the day, when he's sitting at that desk at ESPN, there's no winning and losing. He does a great job on a spot, on a TV spot. He doesn't get to say, I won that spot. Yeah, I won. 27-14. No, I just did a good job, or I did a bad job, and I got to be better next time. There's no winning and losing. So you don't get to scratch that competitive itch. How many times have we seen coaches who seemingly are done? How many times Bill Parcells say, I'm done, and then bring his ass back? It's an itch that never fully goes away. And Herm, as much as he tried to suppress that itch, he was begging for an opportunity. And the first one that came, he took it and ran with it. All right. See what we got. Michael Thompson says, Bama might not make the Final Four this year. All they need is a loss by Wisconsin or a loss by Oklahoma to TCU, and they'll get in. But if TCU wins, Wisconsin wins, they're not getting in because the winner of the ACC championship is getting in, and the winner of the SEC championship game is getting in for sure. Those are locks. So all they need is one team to lose, Oklahoma or Wisconsin, and they're getting in. JCam Man 99 says, in Peanuts, his name was Pigpen, not Dirtbag. I knew it was something. Thank you. He says, Enrique is picking the wrong teams on purpose for sure. I feel the same way. I feel like Enrique is doing it on purpose. Mr. TNA says, Lou, today you decided to do this thing 2 hours before at the worst time possible here in Romania. Greetings again. This show is supposed to start at 9 originally. And I be late all the time. But I'm on my shit now. I'm on my grind, and it's going to be on time from now on. TNA also says, not happy with 13-3. I was poised for 15-1, 16-0, but the Jags defense decided to take a day off. Actually, the Jags defense was bad. They had some blunders, but they made some plays too. You know, they picked off Gabbert. They stripped him, scooped up a fumble, took it for a touchdown. They tried, you know. But in any event, he says to take a day off in Gabbert and to make the Jags lose again. Not mad about picking the Saints. It happens. At 13-3 was a really good week, man. I just love the fact that you aren't content with 13-3. The Mister says, what did I tell you about Eli, Lou? Told ya. Hey, look, man, I never, ever disagreed with your assessment that Eli was trash and they needed to assess that position. I just didn't think they had the balls to do it. But there's a way you go about doing it. And they botched this whole situation. But you did say 2 months ago, hey, why are we not talking about Eli's stinking ass? You said that. Spot on. Soundwave 92 says, I miss Gruden as a head coach. Dude could motivate me to do my laundry list. LOL. Mister says, what about a quick breakdown on Falcons-Vikes prediction? I'm still waiting on my man B3 to tell me what the hell is going on with Keanu O'Neal. Somebody needs to inform me on what's going on there. TNA says, if Panthers defense play in the playoffs like I know they can, they are my favorites in the NFC to surprise everyone. Problem with D is that they're not consistent every game. I don't think the Panthers are consistent on offense either. Not enough to do the type of damage you're talking about doing. Black Al B says, I like what Case is doing, but in Teddy's defense, he had Matt Khalil, TJ Clemens protecting him, and his receiving core was Charles Johnson and Mike Wallace. Hashtag in Teddy, I trust. The question is, does the rest of the organization feel the same way? That's the real question. Soundwave 92 says, I think Bill Belichick has had that coaching itch. I don't see him retiring from his job because him and TB12 literally are too perfect together. I want to see what happens when Tom TBE hangs it up. That's what I want to see. But we've hit 11 o'clock, which means, sorry guys, but I got to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave y'all with these picks. And I'm going to glide to the side. I thank y'all for joining me again tonight on the program. It's been great. As always, send me those picks. Have them in before the deadline tomorrow so you don't get docked a game. And as always, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. Salute to y'all. Have a good one. Here are my Week 13 winners coming at you now. All right, your man Louie T's back like cook crack. Winners and losers, Week 13 picks coming at you right now. Going to give you my winners for Week 13. And last week was extremely easy. I'm telling you, this is the polar opposite right here. I'm expecting a lot of losses from a lot of people not named Louie T. So I'm expecting this week to get really ratchet, and I'm expecting a lot of people to take some L's, man. Some real reckless L's this week. And no one's safe. And I really think this is the Road Warriors week. And so I'm not comfortable with the amount of road teams that I'm picking, but I feel like it's one of those weeks where the road teams are going to rise up and do some damage on the road. So here we go. You start on Thursday night, Redskins at Cowboys, taking my boys to watch the Redskins to get that game and get back to 500 on the season. You go to Sunday's action, probably the biggest game of the day, not in the NFC South. Minnesota at Atlanta, huge game for both teams involved. This has tiebreaker implications. This has playoff implications. This has everything rolled up into one. Give me the Falcons at home to defend their turf as they're starting to figure some things out. Detroit at Baltimore. I'll take the Ravens at home. That defense, give me the Ravens. New England at Buffalo. Give me the Patriots to go in and pretty much salt away the AFC East. 49ers at Bears. Jimmy Garoppolo making his first career NFL start for the 49ers. I'll take Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners on the road. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. Jameis Winston supposed to be back in the saddle. I'm not fooled by Brett Hundley's performance on Sunday night. I'll take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road to defeat the Green Bay Packers. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jacksonville to bounce back and get back on their winning track. Give me the Jaguars at home. Denver at Miami. Look, this is a toss-up game. Flip a coin, pick a team. Really doesn't matter. I'm just tired of being burnt by Miami. Give me Denver on the road. Hopefully their defense can get it done. Kansas City at the Jets. This is a last gasp for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you can't go to New York or New Jersey and beat the Jets, then you don't deserve to win the division nor go to the postseason. You better win this game, Kansas City. This is my last time giving you an opportunity to prove that you're not dead yet. Give me the Chiefs on the road. Houston at Tennessee. The Titans want to win the division. You have to beat Houston at home. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You've got Cleveland at the Chargers. Rams at the Cardinals. Look, bottom line is the Cards had a nice win last week, but they're still the Cardinals, and it's still Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. If you're the Rams, similar to what I just said about the Titans, you want to win the division, you need to find a way to beat Arizona. It's not quite as simple as beating Houston at home for Tennessee. You're on the road. It's Arizona. They play defense. This is a tough one. But if you want to win the division, you need to find a way to win this game. Seattle did it. You need to do it. Give me the Rams as we move on to the biggest game of the week. If Minnesota-Atlanta is big game 1A, this is big game 1B. Carolina at New Orleans for first place in the NFC South Division. This is a huge game. I like the Saints in this one for my reasons. And hopefully you have your own reasons as to why you'll make a decision, Panthers or Saints. I know why I'm picking the Saints. I'm taking the Saints. As we go to the Raiders hosting the Giants. That's a mess in New York. Eli Manning not starting. Geno Smith in. Geno. Oh, Geno. Oh, no. It's Geno. Celebrate. Geno's back. I'm expecting fireworks, but not in a good way. Give me the Raiders to get back to 500 at 6-6 on the season and try to make a run for the postseason. We'll see what happens, but they're supposed to win and get back to 500 over the Giants. You go to Sunday Night Football, massive matchup. If Minnesota at Atlanta is 1A and New Orleans hosting Carolina is 1B, then this is 1C. Philadelphia at Seattle. Boy, does this have great football written all over it. I can't wait. Bart Scott can't wait to watch this game. Eagles haven't played anybody in over a month, okay? Their last 4 opponents look something like San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas with no Zeke Elliott, Denver. I mean, just a host of bad football teams. They're gonna get tested on the road against Seattle. This should be fun. I said all of that to say this. Carson Wentz has been there before. He got a nice lesson in how not to handle Seattle last year. I think he's more poised and prepared to go in to Seattle and find a way to win. Even though I think Seattle can win this game, and I'm leaning towards them, I said this is a Road Warriors week. I'll stick with that theme. Give me the Eagles in that Sunday night tilt. Finally, Monday Night Football. More road teams for your ass. Steelers at Cincinnati. This one could get out of hand. It could. It might not. But anytime these two teams play, you never know what's going to occur. All I know is that the Steelers are going to find a way to win the game, get to 10-2 on the season, and continue to set up a huge matchup and showdown with the Patriots in 2 weeks. Give me the Steelers to go on the road into the jungle and come out with a dub. So quickly, recapping my picks. Redskins, Falcons, Ravens, Pats, 49ers, Bucks, Jags, Broncos, Chiefs, Titans, Chargers, Rams, Saints, Raiders, Eagles, Steelers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Count them. 9 roadies out of 16 games. So I've picked 9 road teams and only 7 home teams. That sounds like a recipe for disaster, but I'm going to mix it up and it's going to taste like sweet victory when it's all said and done. I'm your man, Louie T. Those are my Week 13 picks. Where are yours?